Hi family, it's the morning of February 5th as I record this. It's my son's birthday. I was going to do a spoken word, and then I just thought, no, I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to speak off the cuff about the utter primary importance of love in a relationship. And what a profound difference. I mean, as in day and night, truly no comparison it can make to your future. My son, TJ, was a pure love. He was very soft-spoken, always. He had a lot of his father in him when it came to that kind of thing. Highly intelligent. He was in an advanced program when he was younger, extremely intuitive, and had gifts truly that were just, had he lived, he'd have made such a difference in the world. And then there's his sister, who was born of a different father. And that man never loved me. That's just the truth. It's, I think, the first time I've ever really said that out loud. No, that's not true. I did tell one friend once. So he never loved me. That was just, I mean, everything else aside, all of his violent tendencies, which ended in, the destruction of every relationship he ever had. He did not love me. He met me on the rebound from another woman, and one of the memories that stands strongest always is one of those Kodak moments was when I, just shortly after we had moved in together, and of course we moved in together relatively soon because, it was love and all that, I threw him a birthday party, and everybody was drinking, and got pretty wild, and he disappeared. And so I went to the back of the house. And when I opened the door, he was on the phone with his last girlfriend, the one who had tossed him out. And he was in tears and was telling her how much he loved her. Like I said, everything else aside, and there were so many issues on both sides. I mean, I was not healed by any means. I always tried so hard. I really did. I tried so hard in anything or anyone I got involved with, but it was destined for failure because I wasn't healed. I wasn't aware. One of the things that strikes me so strongly, or has this morning, as I've pondered my son and what an amazing, truly kind, understanding, compassionate, deep human being he was. His quote, I share it every chance I get, is one that when Princess Diana died and he knew I was devastated, he just knew he was living out in Las Vegas, and he called me and I was just sobbing. She was a mother, and I'm just envisioning those little boys without their mother. And so he sent me this book on Princess Diana, and he wrote, of course he did, a beautiful little note inside. And at the end of the note, it says, remember the past, but don't dwell on it, for the future has yet to be written. He wrote that a few years before his actual own death by his own hand, because I think he couldn't remember that when he was 1,200 miles from home with no one there to pull him out of that grief pit that he'd been so mercilessly shoved into. So he was complete love, truly. And he always was, always. And when his sister was born, he was 5 years old, he just never, ever had an issue with her commanding the center of attention, which she always did from the moment she was born. That's who she was. And in so many cases, in so many times, in so many memories I have, it was a wonderful memory of my little girl, and what a bright bit of sunshine she was to any place that she went. But then that distorted, unfortunately. I remember one time when I specifically said to her, she was really angry that her girlfriends at the time, she was a teenager, hadn't remembered her birthday. And I looked at her and I said, well, Jess, how many of their birthdays did you remember? And she hadn't remembered any. And I share that because it was a trait that I wasn't really aware of. And when we have those, and I say we, narcissistic traits which come with the addictive personality, it's hard work. It's why we are mandated, and it will, I mean, recovery programs will tell you there are no musts, but the truth is you better get into service or you will not be healthy or sober or happy for any length of time. You had better be serving other people. I don't know why it's a spiritual law, it just is. So my daughter, I remember when she flew out to stay with her brother in Vegas, and it was shortly after he'd been married, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, she went out there for a couple weeks, and when she came back, she shared a conversation with her, part of one, of how upsetting it was, that I don't recall exactly what brought it on, but her brother looked at her at one point and said, Jess, if you make me choose between you and my wife, I will choose my wife. And when I look back on all of the pictures now, I have all of the pictures from his wedding. He was so happy. He was so happy. My daughter isn't smiling in any of them. She's very, very unhappy. She did not want him getting married to Jillian. And as it turns out, she wasn't wrong at all. However, that is another indication of the propensity to think of self before others. I'm trying to say this in the kindest way I know how, because understandably I'm hurting today, right? It's my son's birthday. And my great-grandson, Ronan Lee, who bears his grandmother's middle name, but before that he bears his great-grandmother's middle name, because my middle name is Lee. That's got a bite for them once in a while, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I don't get to see him either. He was born on November 17th. A few people kindly sent me pictures because it's gone on so long that people know. I mean, you can't not know that this is way beyond anything I supposedly ever did. You can't not know that there's some really twisted, very sad, sick behavior going on. So these people, they keep me updated, of course. But I said this morning, no, I didn't want to see a picture of my great-grandson. No. So, so it's really, if there's nothing taken from this episode other than the primary consideration in any relationship has to be whether it really is based on love. Real, true love. Because if it's not, you can spend decades suffering from the hate that results. But I think I want to leave you today with this. Not the hate. Not that. Not today. I want to leave you with my son. The image of him. The idea of him. He was such a gift. And he was truly my greatest teacher. And I did fail my little boy. When I knew better, I did better. But he deserved so much more than he ever got. And I'm really, really so grateful that I have all of the notes and cards that he sent me, because, again, that is the polar opposite of his sister. He was always doing things like that. So say his name, please, today, and send up a prayer for his sister. Thank you.